Yeah. So all these days, even in chapter 3, I was showing you data, tablet data, the first column in a table like product table or student or GDP rank, I was giving a 1, 2, 3 like for each row, right? Like a unique number for each row. So let's see, let's say, as I told the other day, I was working in a company where the table has 2 billion rows, right? So, and this table used to get thousands of rows every minute, like every hour. So how is the number being maintained? Who is going to maintain? What is the next number to come, or, what is the current number to be used, right? So that's what this auto increment is about, right? So when you create a table, you just say on the column auto increment primary key, okay? So that means when I insert data in this, I am not inserting data for user ID anymore. I'm just inserting for username, Alice and Bob. So automatically the database server will assign the sequence number 1, 2, 3, 4. When you say auto increment, it will keep on incrementing by 1 for the next row. There are ways you can also skip 1 and like increase by 2 like 3, but I have never seen any such implementations in my past experience. So it's always you increment by 1. You can increment by 2, 3 possible, but I haven't seen any such scenarios in real life. Okay, so auto increment, this is a constant. When you define, you don't have to mention it here. See, all the constants, let's say, I can also include this user ID in the insert, but I need to provide a value, so that goes in, that's fine. But if I am not mentioning, there should be some kind of either default constant or auto increment for that column that you missed, or it should have been null. Let's say username is null, I don't mention here, that's fine. But when it is not null, you have to mention. Even if it is not null, you don't have to mention if you define this as a default. Okay, so that is the relationship between null, not null, default, and auto increment. So here the syntax for implementing auto increment is different between 4 DB platforms. So here for Mysql, you say create table users, user ID, auto increment, very simple, primary key, and then other columns followed. Okay, and then for Postgres, you say serial primary key, or you can also say always as identity. This is the most that I have used in Postgres. Instead of auto increment, you say always as identity. In Oracle, you can use even identity, generated by default as identity in Oracle. SQL Server is just identity. Here, 1 comma 1. 1 means always start with 1, increment by 1. This is available in SQL Server. Okay, so what is the auto increment? Auto increment is like a counting machine, that gives each new row in a table its own unique number starting from 1. You can also start from -200, then it will go -200, -199, -198. So the same scenario that I was talking, right? We were using integer as a primary key, and then we exhausted the maximum limit of the integer, like 2.2 billion or something. Then we were in production, to change a int to big int, that was a 2 billion rows. You cannot just change like that, it requires time, downtime and all. But we have data coming into the production, and it was failing out, saying that integer out of range. So immediately what we did is we changed the definition of the table to start the auto increment from the -2 billion. So that means we had time until we change the data type from int to big int. So you can go even from negative numbers too. Okay, so when you say start from negative some number, that number will be reducing, coming closer towards positive 0. Okay, why is it useful? It makes sure no 2 rows have the same number, and most probably this is used for the primary key. Where is it used? Auto increment is great for things like assigning IDs to students, orders, products, anywhere as a first column primary key. Okay, how does it work? When you add a new row, the database automatically gives the next number 1, 2, 3 and so on, and it ensures that there are no duplicates. So this is the main characteristics of this auto increment. So now